A collaborative divorce is similar to a mediated divorce, except the only difference is that there are a few additional professionals involved. In a collaborative divorce, you'll have a mediator and the two spouses, the two partners who are getting divorced. In addition, there typically are additional professionals. Each spouse will have their own attorney, so they'll have a collaboratively trained attorney representing them. So those are two more professionals. And then typically you'll have a mental health professional who could be a therapist or psychotherapist, depending upon your situation. If there are financials that need to be resolved, you may have a neutral financial expert. In the typical collaborative situation, you will have sessions that are set up between you, the mediator, and all the other professionals on a somewhat regular basis until all the issues are resolved. So everybody's meeting all together in each of these sessions. So it's the mediator, the two of you, your two separate attorneys, you'll have your financial neutral and a mental health professional. Why are they all present during each of these sessions? Well, they're here to help you get through the process a lot quicker. So you can imagine that if you start doing the mediation, 'cause technically it is a mediation, if you run into issues along the way, let's say you have questions about the law, you're not quite clear what it means, your attorney is right there. You can get informed and educated as to what the law is and the implications of it on your case, rather than adjourning the meeting, consulting with your attorney on the side, and having coming back to another mediation session. Similarly, if in the middle of the mediation, one of you becomes particularly overwhelmed or emotional, and you just can't get to a place where you can participate in the mediation, the mental health professional is there to help you talk through it. And hopefully you can, again, move over that hurdle. So again, the conversation can continue. When you get up to the financial aspect of your divorce, the financial neutral would be a participant in the process as well. So as questions come up with regard to the finances, what is separate? What is marital? What are the tax implications if we divide the asset this way or that way? You have your financial neutral there who can address and answer those questions so that, again, you can continue with your discussions and make rational decisions throughout the process. As you can imagine, it's a little bit expensive because you're paying for effectively five different professionals. Each of these professionals have their own retainer agreements or contracts and their own fees. Every time that you meet, if you're meeting with them for an hour or 2 hours, you can imagine what the cost of that one session is just to have all those professionals present with you. However, if you were to compare what is the cost of doing your divorce collaboratively versus going to court and litigating it, it could be quite significant, depending upon the contentiousness between you and your partner and the complexity of the issues that are at stake. Perhaps you have a lot of assets that need to be divided that are complicated, or maybe you have a complex financial situation that needs to be analyzed. It can take a long time to analyze and review all of those documents and reach an agreement. Whereas if you meet in a collaborative setting, you can deal with it right then and there. The goal of the collaborative is to short circuit or like make the process a lot quicker because you're usually meeting in a fairly regular basis with an intention so that you can resolve your divorce there. But I wouldn't necessarily say that a collaborative divorce is less expensive than a litigated divorce. To compare the timeline with respect to a collaborative divorce versus a litigated divorce, to me, it's night and day. In a collaborative divorce, you and your partner and all of the professionals are in control over how often you'll meet, when you'll meet, where you'll meet, as opposed to if you're going to do a litigated divorce is dependent upon the timeline of the court. What is the court's availability? Oftentimes, you'll find yourself appearing at a court appearance in 1 month to deal with a particular issue, and you may not have another court appearance set up for at least 3 or 4 months, as opposed to a collaborative divorce situation where you can have your session today and the next session will be scheduled for 2 or 3 weeks out from now, depending upon the availability of all the people involved. If you have any questions about collaborative divorce and whether it's a right fit for you and your family, give our office a call. We're here at Sabra Law Group to help.